4 has been no stranger to chaos. The trailers have gotten ratioed, people have been less than excited for it, and only 2 weeks ago we heard the narrative lead left Playground Games, and now the situation only gets worse because the lead combat and enemies designer has abandoned ship as well. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted, and of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So, I initially found this update on Twitter, and I did look and confirm it. The Red Dragon had tweeted, Xbox has lost another major dev who was working on Fable, recently placed by Bond. Now, when it comes to Fable, it is a few years in development. We have heard that it's about 4 years in development at this point, but it is far from release. It's not releasing in 2023 and not even the first half of 2024. We have heard from developers on this project that at the earliest it'll be the end of 2024. So we still have quite a while to go, and hearing all of these people abandoning ship definitely isn't a good situation. But this game developer actually made a tweet saying, after almost 2 years at We Are Playground / Xbox on Fable, I'm delighted to share that I've joined the ranks of Rocksteady Games / Warner Brothers as a producer on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League to take down the world's greatest DC superheroes. And I've actually talked about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League before, and even this is a major problem because this was supposed to release months ago and they delayed it only a month before release, and we have no idea when it's going to launch now. But that means that this game is nowhere near done. That is a disaster in of itself. But when it comes to this individual working on Fable specifically, they've worked on it for 2 out of the 4 years of, reported development, meaning they are still an integral part of this project. And hearing that they are abandoning ship now is very odd. Some people have tried to argue that, maybe his work is done and they don't need him anymore, but a combat designer isn't someone you just get rid of, especially on a project that doesn't release until, next year at the earliest. And he was not just the combat designer. I mean, he's done several things for this game. This is part of his LinkedIn profile. It says he led production for Fable's combat, enemies, traversal, and much more feature teams, production owner for gameplay and technical design teams, understanding their needs to define key workflows, track dependencies, and construct delivery roadmaps. So he really was a major part of this team. If we were hearing about this in another year and it was only 2 or 3 months away from launch, I'd say, okay, you know what, maybe it's not that big of a deal. But again, he is just one of the few people recently who have, up and abandoned ship. I talked about this in a video as well, but Fable 4's narrative lead recently left Playground Games. After over 3 years of working for the UK studio, the narrative lead, Anna Meagle, announces her departure from the developer. It says that it was first reported by Games Radar. The Fable 4 narrative lead has announced her departure, and she had said, she had loved working with the team. She's so excited for, the future. She said that she, in August, is stepping away from the role, but she also doesn't have anywhere else that she's going, at least as far as we know publicly. It's not like she got offered a better job, and we have all been very worried about Fable 4 and the direction that they are now taking the franchise in. The past Fable games have not been for everyone, right? They were a bit odd, a little bit bizarre at times, and the last Fable, Fable 3, definitely was, much less loved than the first two. But at the same time, we still have high expectations because Fable is such a well-known name at this point. And I've talked about Fable not just with the people that are up and abandoning ship very suspiciously, but also the trailer. This is another major reason why I know a lot of you are very worried about Fable. But we saw the main protagonist, at least that they are highlighting in the teasers and trailers that they are marketing this game with, and she is ugly as sin. I mean, the facial actress that they are modeling her after is a very pretty individual, but they completely butchered this character. And this does come back to new modern AAA releases not, having very feminine looking beautiful female characters anymore, and trying to not appeal to the male gaze, which of course is a ridiculous concept in of itself. But this trailer was flooded with dislikes. Gamerant even said this. The trailer for Fable 4 has been flooded with dislikes. The newest installment in the Fable franchise was revealed during the Xbox Game Showcase, where it showcased the fictional world of Albion and some notable characters. There are a lot of questions up in the air when it still comes to this game. There's still could be a chance that next year or even the year after, when this finally releases, that it's going to be good. I don't like to sit here and be negative and say, there's no hope for a project like this, but the fan reaction so far has definitely been negative, and hearing that all of these individuals are, jumping ship is, major red flags, and people are talking about this on social media saying this really isn't good. People are also pointing out that I think the biggest thing to take away from this is that they're still bringing on more people for Suicide Squad even now. Yeah, it's been delayed multiple times. They were supposed to release it months ago, and then they decided they weren't going to. I think that game is going to be an absolute train wreck as well, which is just so sad to hear so many games being worked on that we know are most likely going to be failures at launch. Again, there are still people who are trying to say that maybe this isn't that big of a deal. Maybe he's finished his work. Maybe he's moving on to bigger and better things for himself. But again, we are still at least a year away from the launch of this title. Losing someone like a lead combat designer, lead enemy designer, just doesn't sit right with me and a lot of other people as well. Trash dev goes to a trashier, more like-minded environment to work with other devs that earnestly thought their Suicide Squad game was good. Sounds like pruning at Xbox is going well. Games might actually be good before release now. Suicide Squad needs him more. That makes, that game remotely interesting. Basically means Fable is done and they only need the programmers to tidy up remaining pieces. Means nothing. Again, we are not seeing the launch of this in 2023 unless we've been lied to by the developers, who are still saying it's a long ways away. And I don't think that it's close to being done. There was a report late last year, early this year, that actually said they had to scrap half the game because it was just in a very unacceptable state. So who knows? Maybe this game will come out soon. Maybe it'll be absolutely fantastic and amazing. I want games to release and be really good, but there are a lot of red flags surrounding Fable right now, with the combat lead designer leaving, the lead narrative designer leaving, and the trailer and negative reaction by fans creates a mess for Xbox and the team of developers working on this project currently. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.